Hi everyone, my name is Michael and I'm going to be talking to you today about decoupling. First, some quick definitions. Resource decoupling is when the use of resources increase at a lesser rate than economic growth. Impact decoupling is when resource use shrinks as the economy increases. Now, economic growth has always been tied to greater use of resources, and income growth is our answer to tackling almost every problem we face, from poverty to national debt to higher quality of life. The problem with continuing this way is that we will continue to use resources exponentially despite the fact that we live on a finite planet. This will eventually lead to a collapse as we'll have no more resources to deal with the issues we're attempting to fight with economic growth, not to mention irreversible climate change. Resource decoupling mitigates the impact economic growth has on the environment but does not necessarily help the environment. And despite the fact that it will generate more efficiency, it is not sustainable. Impact decoupling is where we will experience both sustainable growth and greater environmental well-being. Impact decoupling has different variations on what a society will look like after it is implemented, with some theories maintaining the idea that we can continue to grow in economic wealth with improved technologies that foster a greener planet. However, many experts are saying that this form of impact decoupling is impossible to achieve in time and perhaps even counterproductive. In order to achieve impact decoupling, these experts say a systemic change is what is needed. This involves changing the way we choose to live and what we choose to consume. In this definition, growth is not defined the same as it has been in the past, but shifts its focus to what we as humans most value, such as community, health, and happiness. Here, the standard of living shifts from wealth to happiness. Unfortunately, the problems with impact decoupling in any scenario is that we will eventually need to forego many things we value in the short run in order to see long-term benefits, whether it's gas-powered cars or just cars in general, for example. On a political level, democracy is bad at solving these kinds of solutions and has mainly been good at dealing with issues where the benefit is seen immediately. However, some countries have done a good job at implementing policies to build a greener economy. One of these is Germany. Germany is a front-runner in sustainable development and have implemented policies as early as the 1970s, and in 1996, the National Strategy for Sustainable Development was created. There is evidence that shows that from 1994 to 2007, impact decoupling was achieved in the raw materials sector, as resource productivity grew by 35.4% and GDP by 22.3%, while raw material input decreased by 9.7%. Sadly, Germany is not as green as it is known to be. Many of these calculations don't factor in biotic raw materials. As well, it continues to use coal-powered plants that produce 1/3 of Germany's electricity and does not intend to eliminate these power plants until 2038. Not only that, but as a society that loves its automotive industry, consumers still tend to contribute to the demand in fossil fuel. Many developed countries strive for greener policies and economies, yet fall short within certain crucial sectors, like Germany with coal and auto, that prevent the nation from effective impact decoupling. Now, I was hoping to find a concrete example of a developed nation that has achieved overall impact decoupling, but no matter where I looked, I didn't find any. However, developing countries have an opportunity to develop their economy with sustainability at the forefront and to leapfrog dirty technologies by going straight to green solutions. Despite such a quickly growing population in many of these countries, some nations are still choosing to place sustainability at the forefront of their growth. Yet, without financial aid from developed countries, a fully sustainable economy or economic growth may, and so far has been, impossible. But the best example I did find was Ethiopia. Now, in 2010, Ethiopia set a goal in becoming a middle-income country by 2025 and have a net zero carbon footprint by 2030, despite its rapidly growing population. One study showed that by 2015, its greenhouse gas emissions decreased by 15%, calculating in its population growth. That means that it had a carbon efficiency of 5.7 times that of 2010. 98% of its electricity is renewable, and it is focusing on its electricity sector in its development with aims to raise its electric sector even further, and is building many electric trains for public transport. Like many other developing countries, it needs lots of funding if it is to meet the goals of impact decoupling, yet with countries like China and America funding its electricity sector, it looks like many developed countries are on board with investing in sustainable development for developing countries. Now, it is still too early to tell if Ethiopia will achieve impact decoupling by 2030. Its annual CO2 emissions are still on the rise, with it jumping from 12.69 trillion to 14.35 trillion from 2015 to 2016. As well, its goal to build many power plants, be it for fossil fuel or electricity, will still have a large upfront carbon footprint. The coming years will tell whether developing countries can leapfrog dirty technologies and jump straight into sustainability. But with what information we see from Ethiopia, impact decoupling is still possible. And yep, thank you for listening, and here are my references. Thank you.